everyone. Thank you for joining us at the Rogues Passage Podcast. Today we are joined with an exciting guest, the baritone of Magic the Gathering himself, Dan from IntoThe99. Welcome, darling. It's a pleasure to have you finally. We get to acquaint you as well with Tanner. Oh, yeah.
Hi. Yeah, I'm the one usually relegated to the back room taking care of the toddler while these guys go out and play.
Are you saying that you live in the back rooms?
No. Yeah, you wanna introduce yourself and let us know who you are?
Yeah, I'm Daniel from IntoThe99. I just love Magic in general. You guys play a lot more formats than me. I'm pretty much only a Commander player for a long time. I used to do Standard back way when, but I pretty much only play Commander now. Some Arena when I'm bored, but yeah, that's pretty much all I do.
Arena is a place to go when you're bored. I'm not gonna lie.
Ooh,
I've been playing a lot more of it recently.
The fact that you can play it on like iPad or phone and stuff, it's lovely.
Yeah, you can't argue with the accessibility of it. Yeah.
I am curious. What do you play on Arena? What format and what kind of deck?
I play Standard and I play just a really trash garbage deck that keeps taking me like all the way up to like ethics, and it's really bad. It's only like Kami of the Crescent Moons, like Tribute to the World Tree, Song of Totenaz, Croaking Counter. Like it's not a good deck. But I think there's no removal in it. It's just all tokens and Tribute to the World Tree, and it's somehow working.
Bad deck, good pilot, still gets the wins.
Hey man, smart plays can win a game despite what you're using. So,
especially when it comes to Arena, the amount of times I've won Arena games where it's just like I'm clearly behind, but I just hit the GG button, literally just good game, and they auto concede, and it's like, guys, you had lethal.
Hilarious.
Yeah.
Or I do the your go a lot.
Yeah.
Like right at the beginning of the turn, just your go.
Can you imagine having that kind of talent? It's like, yeah, I have the highest win rate from saying GG, like
from just enraging people.
From just being formal.
Yeah.
I put Croaking Counterpart in the deck, and it's specifically because people play Shouldered. And it's just really funny to make copies of Shouldered so that when I draw, I gain life. And because the way that the Arena stacks it, they lose their life first. So it ends up a lot of the time killing them on their draw instead of their gain. Very funny to me.
Hey, we're joined by Emery. Hey, spell PSI how you be.
Yeah, what's sup slots? That's on brand. Anyway, I guess we skipped our introductions. I'm Tanner Cherry. This guy over here.
I'm Brando.
Yeah. And yeah, I'm a dirty mono blue player on Arena.
You would be.
I actually, man, like Arena got me to build 2 standard decks in paper because of like how fun. I don't know, like mono blue tempo is a whole different thing, man. Like it plays like a red aggro deck, but it has protection, kind of like a White God's Willing style. Like the old mono blue one had like dive down to protect your Tempest Djinns and stuff, and like I love so much the marriage of those 2 play styles. It's not like you're mono blue, but you are trying to like get out in front and kill someone really quickly with creatures. Like I don't know. That's the thing that keeps me playing Arena. Also, I recently just I recently just spent a bunch of gems on those like 8-bit lands that came out, the Secret Lair 8-bit lands.
That's sick.
Delicious. Yeah. See, I just log in to play my Historic Brawl, which is only my mono green Ashaya deck, because I'm just thirsty for big creatures and green go stomp.
Y'all should join this club. We don't log in.
Brawl is actually entertaining on there, which is blasphemous to me, but
yeah.
It's the only place it lives, really. I tried desperately to get our friends group into Brawl when it was brand new. Like Brawl was announced in Ixalan, Rivals of Ixalan. Yeah. I believe, and
Eldraine.
Corvold was the first,
right?
One of the first of those, right?
One Chulane,
Corvold, Alayla, and
Alayla was originally Brawl.
Yep, Alayla's a Brawl deck.
I play that. I play her now, and I cannot. That sounds rude.
It's actually the home of Arcane Signet too.
Yeah, you're playing the new Alayla though, Brady.
No, Artful Provocateur.
Yeah, that's the Brawl one.
Yeah.
Oh, that's the Brawl one. Oh.
Yeah,
that's right.
Yeah, the new one's in the 99.
Yeah.
Hey, Dan. Yeah. But it's not. I'm not rocking it as my commander.
Anyway, screw Arena. I got questions, man. I want we met you guys, the IntoThe99 crew, at face-to-face tour Calgary that came through, which, I mean, that was so much fun for us getting out to that. It was the first time that we put the hoodies on. We were just like, we're an official crew. We're gonna go try and make a name for ourselves. It was like the first outing, and yeah, we like stumbled in and met a lot of new cool people. And I unfortunately didn't get to sit in on games with you guys. But this guy did.
Ems and I thrown to the fodder going against you and Ross, which was honestly such an amazing first impression because. Like now, let's make this verbatim on the channel. Emery and myself were absolutely we were geeking out so hard. It was just like Ross playing every move possible to keep us both in check. It was just like both of us were like, you were being such a bastard with Fur Crag. It was amazing. Yeah, it was great.
Yeah, so
no, it was very fun. Those hoodies look sharp. I still have to get one.
Yeah, yeah. Spell piercer also so hard for Ross. Yeah. Props to Ross.
With you. So we actually just sold a hoodie to somebody in Arizona, which feels cool. That's like a milestone for us. If you're watching,
definitely, yeah.
Silent Reveille, you're badass.
Thank you so much for supporting. We love you.
If you want to check out a really cool merch store, IntoThe99, you guys have some really sweet stuff. I have to put in some time to get our stuff onto a store like that so that it's more accessible for people.
Yeah. Props to y'all. You inspired us to go that route as well. We really like how you're doing that for your merch. So
yeah.
You guys, there's I like the hoodies that we have a lot, but I keep wrecking mine at work because I'm not.
Yeah, I need to get one of those untap upkeep dye hoodies. I'm like, that's me. I'm gonna get that. I'm getting that.
I like those.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So you guys have been doing this for how long? Like a few years? More?
I think like year 5 or something now. I think we're at like episode like 260 something.
That's crazy. Right on, man. That's awesome.
260 is a good run, man. That's
grinding.
Commitment.
That's grinding. Mm-hmm. That's putting in the work for it.
What was the
I
catalyst?
Just keep talking about people coming up. I just like Magic. I've played for a really, really long time, and I like to record stuff. I play a lot of music. I record a lot of music and stuff. So I was like, I think this would be fun, and this is very different than recording vocals. Like you can miss a lot of imperfections in vocals, but when voice is the only product in the podcast, it's very, very different recording. So it's fun to learn.
So you sing then?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Do you do like can you do because you have a baritone? Can you achieve something like a Tom Waits vibe? Because I'm a big fan of Tom Waits.
I don't know your references. I'm so sorry.
I'm sorry. I'll tone the hipster down. Can you do like a yeah?
No, the next time I see you, I'll do some singing for you.
Because I like to sing as well. So let's make this a thing. Yeah, that'd be great.
But yeah, no, it's I just got into doing that, and it was just fun, and started. It was just people I played with at RLGS. Just started talking and wanted to keep recording, and it just got more and more fun. So.
Yeah. Now I met a lot of your crew. Slothy's awesome. Sherman's great. Ooh.
Brady and Chords.
Yeah, Sherman's great. Actually, ever since our collaboration with Brian the first time, I've had a little Sherman on my shoulder being like, stop looking at the ceiling. Basically like, yeah, so I always appreciate that.
Yeah, Sherman's too adult for me. I only look at the ceiling. It's all gasoline.
That's so quotable.
Yeah.
The way I play, no removal, just all gas. I don't remove problems. I am a problem.
Yeah, I guess
that. I respect that.
If anybody wants to check out an episode that was a riot, the episode that you posted, I think it was a few weeks ago. I finally got to see the one with the Kenrith I don't take a turn deck.
I really enjoyed that deck a lot. That one was I was getting a little silly.
Eater of Days doing a lot of work, more than Beamtown can achieve. Oh my god!
I still have PTSD from that game.
Okay.
I got beat so hard that Emery played. I can't remember what it was. It was just something that countered things, and I got like I think 8 or 9.
Oh, the chaos spell. The first game with Hidetsugu and Kairi, where I ended up just popping off. Yeah. That was brutal.
4 times, like it was rough. I finally thought that I was gonna do something crazy with this merciless eviction, and then just a counterspell. Didn't see that coming.
Yeah, of the 3 in that deck, still to this day, only of the 3 of that deck, you know, that deck wants to hog turns. It doesn't want to control everyone else's turns. So,
so for me, I was enjoying that episode while I was at work, and normally for stuff like that, I'll watch or I'll listen to YouTube. I'll just throw it in my pocket, and I'm working and I'm listening to it. And the thing that was notable to me was just the sinister laughter from around the room of like people that were watching this game. Like every time something strange happened, just like everybody just being like the face palm, like, oh my God. Like,
there was a lot of me going between everyone's hand and just like, I can't believe this. I can't believe what's happening right now. This is literally unfathomable. I've never seen this in my life. I was kicking so hard.
Yeah, killer episode. I recommend everybody go check that out.
Yeah, please.
Thank you guys. Got a lot of unique ones to.
Yeah, go check out the Kenrith versus Rune or Ruhan. that's what that game was.
Oh, this is a fun one. It was. I'm glad you guys had a fun playing that one. It's a lot of people don't make it through that one. I get a lot of scooping to that. I take no turns. You tried.
I
tried, but I respected the some jokey sense of my first trying to concede at sorcery speed was countered, and I'm like, okay,
Rude.
I'm just gonna stay here then.
My favorite part of the episode, the favorite part was at the end when Brian was giving you shit, and he was just like, you wouldn't let him concede, but you're gonna go out like this.
Yeah, I had no actual way to win. I played it so that I couldn't do my combo, and I didn't get to a turn.
Yeah.
No flash, no.
Yeah,
Those were legendary games, so I can't even, it was such a great first impression. It was great.
yeah. I heard legends of those games. It was nice to finally see them.
I was so happy to, Brandon had been there while I was like vibrating when I was playing Hidetsugu and Kairi. I'm like, the deck I wanted to do the things tonight is doing the things kind of vibe, and Brandon's like, shh. He's like rubbing my knees like, it's good, you got this. Like I'm just like vibrating to the point, like losing my mind.
The entire game I was like, well, I have to build this. This is a wicked deck. Like it was so cool to see all that top deck manipulation go off. I like stuff like that.
And when you get something, when you have like the nuance of the weird strategic nuances that come from something like what's that one spell that converts people's health from like the lowest to the highest, and you create a horror, things like that, like sinister transmutation or something, whatever it is called. Just like being able to do that for free and still punishing someone with the damage, because I dealt, I think the first turn I was popping off, I dealt 24 total damage to Emery or something. Like, if you build it right, because not a lot of interaction, just a little bit of counter spells to protect my commander, if anything, usually from a field wipe or maybe like targeted removal or something like that. But yeah, I was so grateful to do it on that on your channel. So
being able to whip off like those like huge like Enter the Infinites or like Amanatu's Augury, that kind of stuff.
It's, like we were saying, like it's a gas deck. Like it's the deck does not care about the floor. Thankfully, though, that one enchantment from Emery ensured that I was only looking at the floor until I could finally fly. Oh, it was so good.
I had just built that deck. I just put together. I hadn't played it like at all, and I was so excited. I was like, "This is gonna go off." It's a revolt deck. Basically, the whole point is tokens are gonna leave. I'm gonna get so many experience counters. It's gonna be crazy. Didn't go that way at all.
Emery from across the table? No.
No.
I was
with the linky face, like a. That's how Emery plays. Right on. All right, let's bring up a discussion here, boys. We got some.
Yeah, we're here to make an announcement. Really, we're.
Oh yeah, that's right.
We're going pro as an esports team.
We're going to Saskatchewan.
No. I'm talking about the esports. We're going Animal Crossing 2.
Listen, sir. At least choose a game that's believable. If you're gonna call that kind of nonsense.
High stakes Animal Crossing.
Yeah. Mortgage Simulator.
High stakes Animal Crossing.
It's New Horizons. Thank you. Not Animal Crossing 2.
Oh, you're right. Sorry. I actually was thinking about that bit, and I was like, I don't know anything about Animal Crossing. I'm going to get caught in a lie here.
Yeah, especially
boring,
for me,
that's all I
a resident super nerd.
Well,
if I'm going to play a game like that, it's Pokemon.
Before we get into we have so many topics to pick from here to discuss from, but what are you guys looking at for 2024? You guys have any cool plans? Are you going to go to any tour things? Are you? Yeah, what's your year looking like?
So I have some fun plans that I could share after, but I can't say publicly. But I do have some really, really fun stuff, and I actually have a good intention of asking you guys to do some help with it. So there will be some collaboration, I am sure. But we'll probably be doing a bunch of the face-to-face kind of stuff as well. I've got as you guys have seen, and anyone who's seen our channel, we have a I bought a huge live streaming setup, right? So I want to do more of that, probably more just kind of events and everything like that. Like I know you guys you did some hosting of like tournaments and stuff, so it'd be fun to maybe come out and help out with some of those as well and get some of the streams going.
I want you in one of our tournaments. Yes.
Yeah, ultimately, like our Rite of Passage tournament that we did, we went like the whole distance to bring like my whole PC down there and like set it up and like live stream it. And like, I mean, ultimately, like we're still pretty small. I think it probably only reached like 8 or 10 people for like the live stream, like maybe less. But like the episodes in post, like the edited content has reached. Like our YouTube is getting legs, but like the live stream, it seemed like it was just like, man, it almost wasn't worth it to go that distance.
You guys are the opposite of me. You're not lazy with stuff, right? So like if you and for anyone obviously listening to your stuff, watch their videos because they are really good. I just live produce everything. I'm like, this is it is done, and this is what you get. And you guys, like, you're dropping stuff in, you're doing graphics, you're doing a lot, and it looks phenomenal. It looks great. You guys are producing like wicked stuff.
And that's just honestly, it's just the tip of the iceberg. We have some really ambitious, awesome goals that I'm not sure we'll necessarily get at here in this podcast, but that you have been privy to. I'm very, very excited about some of those projects, as well as especially with some more collaborative works with Brandon. We have just honestly way more effort is being put into this than most people realize. So it's going to be exciting.
Yeah.
I live and breathe by the computer. I'll live and die by the computer.
And I was meant for the stage, darling. So let's see where we go with this.
Exactly.
Hi, Mercy. What's up?
Hey, Mercy. What's up?
So yeah, cool things coming in 2024 that you can't yet talk about. That makes me even more excited. That was like the best answer I could have asked for.
I assure you that you guys are going to love the project. And like I said, I have plans to include you guys. You'll be a good time. So that's why we were gonna stream for tomorrow. We were gonna do games, and I was gonna try chat with you guys about it then. But trust me, I've got a fun thing for you guys. I 10 out of 10 bet right now, guarantee Brady's in love with his idea. So
yeah, I am. I have since speaking of Mercy, just jumped into the chat. Have since adopted an empowering title. The Imp's Mischief has become my life and souls. Is my mantra. And honestly, anything that is exciting and weird, I'm all for it. Like, absolutely, I have to own that. I'm not going to run from it. Just throw me into it. Excited.
It's going to be fun. It's going to cost me a lot of money. That's all I'll say.
Are you guys going to come to Saskatoon? That's next weekend, right? No, we have 2 weeks. Yeah.
Yeah, it's the 26th.
So
no, I won't be up at that one. I'll probably do the Edmonton one and the Calgary one as well, and then I might do 1 or 2 of the States events this year. It all just kind of depends on work. Like we're very, very busy at the moment. So.
Yeah. Wait, you said so? We're gonna do the Edmonton one as well, but I don't think there's another Calgary one scheduled right now, is there?
Not yet, but there will be a Calgary one. Like there always is. Yeah, they usually do a few like 6 months of it kind of thing. And have you guys? Are you gonna chat? Just private talk, but are you guys gonna talk with? Are you guys gonna be creators at it, or just go up?
We'd like to. I did reach out for the wait, which one? It was the single day Calgary one. I reached out a week and a half before.
Small, yeah.
Yeah, I just never got a response. So I'll try again I guess I should probably try for.
Well, if we recall exactly, the first time that the one that we met at was like a regional event, wasn't it? So the one that I was at McEwen Hall was very low scale. I'm not surprised at all that they just, there wasn't enough hubbub about it. If anything, even next time we could just kind of, I would almost say for us, cut the corner and be like, hey, we're doing this anyways. I hope you don't mind.
Yeah, I mean, they do 2 different types of events, right? They do a weekend and then they do a tour stop. And the tour stop is just the single day, and it's really, it's not quite the same. There's no celebrities, there's no guest creators, there's no stuff like that.
It's a lot more low budget kind of thing.
Yeah, it was still real fun.
Nothing wrong, yeah, still very fun, but it's not. They don't bring out like the artists and stuff. Like there was great artists at the first one that I met you guys at. So
yeah, there was like you guys.
No, I can't draw anything.
Absolute treasure.
Oh, what is this? Hold on. First time chat. Hey, the Rogues Passage. How's it going? Randomly scroll on Twitch on my phone.
Wait, no, don't read it. It might be a.
Brady?
It's a spicy site message. Don't read that out loud.
Oh, okay. Well, let's continue. This is my forte.
We're just getting attacked by
Yeah, I've
bots.
noticed that a few times. The bots be real, gentlemen. The bots
Oh,
be
and
real.
I was going to say the one more 2024 goal that I do have for the year is you guys mentioned in one of your recents that you want to start trying cedh.
Yes.
I would love to introduce you guys to some fun games.
Oh, okay. I need a mentor because, like, for instance, I've challenged myself for Saskatoon it's not next weekend, right? We have 2 weeks?
We have 2 weeks.
Yeah. So I want to put together a cedh deck, and the episode that I want to record for this endeavor is me being a newbie scrub going and sitting down at cedh tables against, like, at a tournament level and learning the hard way, I guess, just getting my ass beaten to the ground. But the funny thing is, like, the list that I want to do, I have an Elsha of the Infinite deck that I really love, and I get a lot of heck for it being a little bit too efficient, too tuned, but it's not cedh, it's not quite there. So it's like, it's in that gray area. I'm sure a lot of people have decks where they're like, I either dial this back or dial it up, and I think I want to just take it, like, Elsha's not a tier 1 list in cedh, but it is maybe a tier 2?
Tier 2, I think 3.
Or at one point it was. It's quite capable from what I've heard, and I want to just print the cards. I just want to proxy the cards. I'm sorry if you're not a fan of proxies, you can just deal with it. I'm just going to proxy the cards because I want to enjoy the gameplay and learn a new format. And
you have to.
Yeah, I'm going to print the cards, and I'm going to go to Saskatoon, and I'm going to play against people. But in looking at the Elsha list recently, it's like, it hurts my brain. I know that, like, there's lines and there's combos and there's packages and all this stuff. If I just take Moxfield and draw suggested opening hands, I, like, freeze up and shit my pants. I don't know what to do. Like,
I don't know this one.
What's that?
You're just like, oh, I just don't know this one.
No, well, there's some cards that I'm like, what does this do? I don't understand what role this card has. So I guess there's just, like, minor mentorship that I'm going to be looking for.
Yeah, if you want, we can probably just throw the deck. I got a real big collection, so.
Yeah, the one thing about cedh is you have to taste the ground a number of times before you're able to spit it in someone's face.
You have to lick some boots.
It's I find my only real problem with the format of, like, cedh is it's very, very list bound. It's very
meta.
A lot of people move away from the meta, and because it's meta, like, it's literally, you can find every deck list that people are going to play, and it has, like, a whole 18-page write-up about, like, these are the weaknesses and these are the strengths, and
the primers.
If you play things that people don't play in cedh, like if you play garbage cards, it really throws them all off and they don't know what to do about it. Like, there's I've got a pretty fun one. I'll show you my Miria list when we do it. It's just a green-red land destruction competitive deck, and it's fun.
Cool. Yeah, I mean, like, I know that cedh has a stigma of being like a turn 1 format or whatever, where it's really not, where the possibility of winning on turn 1 is quite low, probably like 5% of games, because, like, people play interaction, you know, and like I've become the Rogues Passage project has, like, I've become intoxicated with playing many different formats that I never really touched before, and I love that. I love the content creation for that because it's pushing me to, like, put myself in uncomfortable positions and play stuff I'm not used to. But yeah, cedh is I think it's, like, the biggest. Well, I think Modern is probably the bigger boogeyman to me right now, because Modern is very expensive to play, and people that play Modern are very passionate and competitive about Modern.
Timeless Legacy.
Oh, I want to play Timeless so bad.
I think anything that gives you full access is fairly degenerate. Outside of, like, Oathbreaker, because Oathbreaker has its own kind of limitations for a commander format, but I think Oathbreaker these days naturally is kind of degenerate. It's if you build it the normal way that I've at least been experiencing it recently, everyone has a counter spell as their companion spell or something ridiculous, you know, like, or removal, or, you know, most of my spells just synergize with the commander. But, like, no, I want to make sure I can counter your stuff. I'm like,
Yeah.
Also, allow companion in Oathbreaker. Free the companions in Oathbreaker.
That would be cool.
You can have partners, you can have two commanders in the command zone with two signatures.
No, I hate that.
2 commanders in the command zone with 2 signature spells, but you can't have a companion.
Yeah.
That's the stupidest thing I've ever
Daniel,
heard.
have you played much Oathbreaker?
Nope, none. Emery was saying I should try it. I've played lots of Tiny Leaders.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
I like
fun too.
Tiny Leaders
like
is a
that.
commander with less than 3 CMC.
Yeah, the whole deck 3 CMC or less.
Right.
That sounds broken.
Yeah.
It's a fun one. My favorite, the only way that I think is a realistic tournament format, and this is a super controversial take that no one likes. I think the only way to play Commander as a competitive format, truly, is to play with ante. Full out blind ante. You pick a number, and you just cut my deck. So if we're playing 4 people, you guys each cut my deck face down. I don't know what's in it. I lose those cards if I lose. It really, really changes the meta of what people are willing to put in a deck.
Yo, it's
And what
pink
people are
slips.
willing to play. And you also just have I've got 3 cards that could potentially be my Demonic Consultation, Thassa's Oracle combo that everyone runs in every deck, right? Losing one of those to your ante kind of wrecks a lot of decks.
Yeah, I mean, ante was a mechanic that was baked into the game, and it lasted a few years before they. I think like the Pro Tour, like they just kind of shoved it to the side, and they were like, yeah, it might not have been the best way to do it, but I mean, there's
a really good one. Like you can do a lot of fun games with like even just budget decks and everything, and then everyone just kind of signs the cards they lose, and see it get passed around a play group is kind of fun. But I really, really like high tier ante. Me and my brothers like to play that a lot.
Well, at least you're keeping it in the family that way.
No, like we play against like a bunch of my friends. I've got 3 little brothers, and they all played Magic with me growing up. That's why we have like such a huge collection, is because the 4 of us played together growing up, basically since like Revised.
Wow.
Yeah,
I didn't know you played that long. Yeah, because I think Brady told me that you are that you and your family are purveyors of the power of Magic.
What, just like for the big cards, the Power 9 stuff?
Yeah, I mean, like I guess you're probably the only person that I know in person. I still have not met in person, but
I didn't want to bring it up personally. I was like, that's a sensitive subject matter.
But like you came into the ownership of Black Lotus before it was crazy, right? I guess if you're saying you played in Revised.
A bunch. I like one of my like joke stories all the time is that I remember like begging for money from my parents to buy foil like Gaia's Cradle, because it was the Judge promo and it was on such a good deal, and I was like, come on, give me my allowance, got to hook it up.
Your
They're
allowance?
like, no, money. Yeah, and I was getting allowance money for this thing, and then like I think I got that for like $80, $90. Like it was nothing. It was nothing.
I hate you so much right now. I'm just pink in the face of envy.
Slimefoot deck.
That's
What's that?
crazy.
Yeah, I have it sitting in a Slimefoot deck. It's like a deck that without that card has like a $200 budget. It should not be there.
I love it.
That's amazing. Yeah, you were saying the most recent episode. What was the deck you were talking about where you threw in a bunch of duels just because you had them from a previous deck?
Oh, yeah, the Galadriel. I just had a few like duels sitting around because I took 1 or 2 decks apart.
Yeah, curse you by the way for that meme, because that song has been stuck in my head. Stuck in my head. Oh my god.
I can't stay over that Galadriel. I'm on like a 5th one now.
I'm making the Simic one right now with the one that Songs That Bring Tempts You, like every time you scry, I'm like, this is amazing. This is basically Thrasios with scry triggers. Like
Sherman put that one in, and it looks like it ramps insane.
I mean, anything that could do what Thrasios does is normally a breaking card, I think.
Oh,
No,
I wanted to ask you about the quantity of decks that you had. And then I just realized I've been asking all the questions, and I was just like, man, I should let Brandon talk if he wants
and
to.
by the way, Dad, he's all heard the secondhand from me, so I apologize if I was heavily romantic.
No, I've also heard it on the podcast. You like talking about the sheer quantity of decks.
Yeah, sleeved commander decks. I'm at like the 680ish right now.
So I have questions about storage.
Yikes.
Where do you put them, and how do you categorize or store them?
Let me tell you, they're just in boxes, and then I just buy more boxes, and then that's kind of just what we do. I basically just at any point am within reach of just like stacks of cards and sit and build. And
So, man, I wonder. There's got to be like there is one guy, I can't remember which podcast I was exposed to this person on, but he does, and I think he's still currently on the challenge, but he has every single commander or legendary creature in Magic built as a commander deck, and every single commander deck or every single legendary that comes out, he builds another deck. He's like I think he won the lottery twice or something, and he's
That's
just
pretty cool.
he's got thousands and thousands of commander decks.
Organize that.
he's actually got it organized in a grid system, which is crazy because when he has friends over, every single deck is in the wall in a massive grid in like multiple rooms.
Does he have the big square table?
Must be nice.
Is it? Sorry, say that
Like
again.
he has the big octagon table in his playroom, and it's all on a glass shelf.
No, I think like those IKEA 12x12 cubby things. I think he's got just like racks and racks of those, and they're all laid out in like numbers and letters. And you roll the dice. If you go over to his place, you roll the dice twice to see which deck you play and pull it out of the wall.
That would be fun.
That is pretty fun.
I believe it might have been the Command Zone that I heard that this guy. I can't remember his name right now, but on multiple occasions he has augmented the price of staples just because every so often he'll buy 600 Soul Rings. And he'll just like buy out every retailer, causing the price to spike $30.
I have so much negative.
Yeah.
I have a lot of vitriol about that.
I don't go to First Player yet, but I do that at a bunch of the other stores.
Yeah.
I just buy all copies of a card when I'm in there.
Some. Oh, that. It was like the one time that Buddy when Ixalan first came out and Jace, the flip Planeswalker, I think it was that one, or the Jace who lost his memory. Yeah, it was a flip Jace, wasn't it?
Stupid sexy Jace?
Yeah, there was somebody who bought up like I don't know how many copies of it, and for like a matter of like weeks, it was one of the most expensive cards in the game.
Yeah.
Like so ridiculous. That kind of stuff does bother me for the game, especially like one thing I wanted to tiptoe around for the sake of this podcast today was the proxy debate, because right now for the last month or so, it has been relatively more toxic than I've ever seen, to the point where it's getting nauseating trying to be self-promoting social media, YouTubers, and it's bothersome because we always have to tiptoe around a lot of gatekeeping, frankly. And my favorite stance on this is one that we've come across, Dan, which was, as somebody who owns a Black Lotus, like gatekeeping one's happiness makes no sense in a game that's meant for friends coming together to have fun. And like I see this a lot with people where I understand there is a lot of hurt from people who have spent a lot of money and a lot of compromise in their life getting to this point in which they said, no, this isn't okay for everyone else. Like, you should be paying money into the card because I've been doing this whole thing. And that's always where the one angle of the argument on the one side always seems to come from. And the other is, well, we're having fun playing the game even if we're proxying. Mm-hmm. And it's just like, why can't both sides meet? Like, I believe in a sense of elitism. I believe in a sense of an accomplishment that can for sure come from the game. But as soon as I own more than one Smothering Tithe, I'm not going to keep buying anymore. Yeah. It's insanity.
I think a lot of it too is I don't think that I dipped my toes into quite a few different play groups of Magic, and for the most part, I haven't really come across anybody who's like adamantly against proxies. The people who are adamantly against proxies, and they do exist. I feel like it's more of like the people who end up at like the Friday Night Magic, who are like going to big things like the face-to-face events, where they're sitting there in like maybe more of a competitive or more of like a setting like that. Just because like, especially now that we're creating content, especially now that we're like delved into the internet, it's the Facebook groups and stuff where most of this discourse is coming from, where it's the echo chambers of people arguing. I don't like I think there's a lot less animosity when it comes to proxies than it seems like, that like at least from the echo chamber that is the internet. Because realistically, let's take a look at half the people that we've met, half the people that we play games with on a regular basis, and it's like, have we met anybody who's actually against proxies?
Yeah,
maybe like the whole like. Oh,
this is a very good point.
Yeah, I have 100%, a lot.
Oh wait, you have?
I have. Yeah.
Okay, so I think the point that Brandon was spiraling on was that like we don't encounter many people very often.
I think it's like there's a colloquial effect, right? Like, the internet is where we're always going to be confronted with the most amount of vitriol when it comes to the subject. But when it comes to our own pod, I think for a lot of the times, like attracts like, and that also includes player mentality. And I think a lot of us, especially for our pod, we're blessed with amazing crew. I have some of the best times of my life just organizing a night of Magic with my friends. And we are so blessed to have that. Now, unfortunately, there's a lot of people who may not have this kind of social connection that depend on LGS. And there's a lot of that there's a lot of the front line effect, the guerrilla war effect, guerrilla guerrilla war effect. Oh my God, you know what I'm saying? of coming across that one person who is determined to bring down your knight, smother you with their tithe, force you to pay the one. You know what I mean? Like it's constant.
The two.
And I've come across
Smothering
that.
tithe is two.
Yeah.
I don't want to keep talking in magic innuendo, but do you know what I mean? It's true that there is truth out there for a lot of this. There's unfortunately a lot of butthurt people who've spent too much money and now they're convinced that their way is the only way to do it. It's kind of like one of my favorite ways to look at this is let's ignore Magic the Gathering as a card game. Let's look at it as soccer. Okay? Now, is anyone let's say as an example, you just happen to destroy your soccer ball, but you happen to have this frumpy piece of shit that, you know what, you can kick around. Now, if you're kicking it around the same way that you're playing soccer, are you still not playing soccer? Are you still not achieving your goal here? Are you playing the game?
I'm struggling to understand the soccer meme.
Soccer is Magic the Gathering. We're kicking around a deck. You know what I mean?
It's like the real card is the actual soccer ball, and the proxy soccer ball
is the piece
proxy.
of shit that you just happen to kick around, but you want to have fun. Unfortunately, you can't just run to the store to buy a brand new soccer ball. And that's unfortunately a huge scenario that a lot of people face every single day, especially when it comes to the one side of the argument being those who want a proxy, who can't afford the humongous degree of expenditures that comes with a game. Yeah. And also looking out there for all you Warhammer players, I'm sure you have as much complaints, you know?
Well, yeah, let's hear what our guest has to say about this.
So I have so many opinions on this, but
well, I'm done ranting. I want to hear your opinion for sure.
The biggest thing about proxies is that in general, we all start out kind of the same, right? We get a friend or two that plays Magic. Someone introduces us to the game. We build a deck, and our friends are beating us. That's natural when we're learning a game. It's super complex, right? And we learn how our friends' decks are. We want to win. It feels good to win no matter what you're playing. In anything you do, you want to win. So what do? You tune your deck up a little bit. You get some more expensive cards. Well, your friend just taught you they don't want to lose, so they tune their deck up a little bit. And it kind of gets a little bit into arms race. So proxying generally comes in that sense, right? And a lot of people, the biggest problem is just not being honest with what you're playing and stuff, right? Because a lot of people want to win. They don't like to lose. So, this is a 7. Everything's a 7. Every deck, like it's just everything is a 7, no matter what it is. Like it could be 85 lands, it's a 7. And the biggest thing is that like proxying, there's not a good argument against it when you break it down to, does it feel better if I turn 1 beat your deck you've played if I spent $2,000 to do it? No, it's still annoying, right? There's no like if you're like, okay, like I don't like proxies, let's have a good casual game, and I'm like, no problem, you're playing group hug, you're playing some Shadrix, and I'm like, all right, I'm gonna turn 1 Mana Crypt, Lotus Petal, we're playing Zerda, we're gonna get out with the Mana Crypt, we're gonna get a Soul Ring, Basalt Monolith,
Speak slower,
infinite
please.
mana. Listen.
Speak slower for me.
But you know what I mean? Like, no one wants that. No one's like, oh man, great, you had some real cards, great, you Grim Monolith me. I'm glad that you owned it. Like it's not fun, right? And I think that's where the proxy debate gets kind of the most confused, because like someone said in the chat, Emery there, throw a Mana Crypt in every deck. Well, Mana Crypt doesn't go in every game, right? Like it doesn't. It changes threat assessment when suddenly you have like a turn 1 2 mana for free, when you have like your free counter spells, your Force of Wills, that kind of stuff. It's not welcome at every table. It's not the experience people want. Mm-hmm. So I view proxies overall as a positive, but that's because I just like to play Magic. I have tons of decks. I have tons of different levels. I want people to play, like I want to face good ideas, not people's budgets, because at the end of the day, like life happens. All of us, from like elder Magic players to kids just getting into the game, life happens, you know what I mean? And do you want to win Friday Night Magic so bad that you're going to skip eating? I hope not. Like I hope that you would spend $5 and play the same game and stuff, right? You proxying a Black Lotus to play a game with me doesn't make my Black Lotus any cheaper. You just have a version and we're just playing the game. I can see, sure, if prizing is on the line, then some people are like, oh, well, you know, you've got to own the cards. But again, that would be like playing chess, and just because your opponent's richer than you, they start with 3 queens and you only have pawns. It doesn't make sense for a competitive format, right? Like,
there's a lot of philosophy to it. Yeah, because it's like, what are you trying to achieve here? Are you trying to play to win, play to play? Like, you know, a lot of the times when in a game's of wins and losses, most people go into it naturally competitive. But that's where, like, when they first came out with Commander, they wanted to create a more political, fun, casual format that didn't depend on the anxiety of a race to the finish that 1v1 usually presented. Now, ironically, a lot of the formats these days, especially if you end up playing like a 3-pod of Commander, like it feels like 1v1. There's no making a politic without making the other person absolutely the one person on the receiving end of everything bad, right? So
yeah, I guess, hey, like 3-pod, you are like actively insulting one person by
100%.
Making a deal with the other.
I call those formats cutthroat, though. Like, I like to go into 3-pods being like, no politics, let's play. And it's a good time. It's a very good time.
I don't. So go ahead.
Just to your point, Dan, from the competitive side of things, because I agree with you wholeheartedly. Like, just allow proxies, let anybody play whatever card they want to play, sort of thing. Also, as a side note, let's just open up the ban list on Commander, unban everything.
Free raids.
Hold on.
But at least when it comes to, especially when it comes, what's that?
No, I'll let you go. But yeah, I want to follow up this.
Yeah. At least when it comes to the competitive side of like using proxies, I get why. Especially in that setting, it's a lot more like gated. Is because I think a lot of it comes down to just like the conceptualization of who's playing and why they're playing. Because if proxies were allowed in competitive settings, anybody who has no interest in Magic can just be like, okay, I'm just gonna print the most like what is the top tier list, and I'm just gonna show up to every tournament I can and win.
Can I jump in on this?
Absolutely.
That would be really fun, because then the prize pools would be enormous if everyone came out to play. If everyone could come out and play, and you had like, you know what I mean? Like, sure, it's cool to like win a vintage thing, but there's 3 players playing vintage, right? If you have something like this huge group, then all of a sudden you got these big, you know, $5,000-$6,000 prize pools. Everyone's having a great time, and you can really win. I would rather have like 1,000 players out playing with fake cards and a great prize pool for it than 5 people and whoever has the most money wins.
Yeah, so
that's actually a very good counterpoint.
What I'll add to that, though, is that most often anything with a decent prize pool is put on by either somebody that's affiliated with a card vendor, or is a card vendor, or is Wizards of the Coast. And it does not behoove them to allow people, or to not incentivize people to purchase cards. So I understand that, like, if Star City Games wants to post a 20K tournament and they allow proxies, they actually lose a whole bunch of vendor sales of people trying to buy the cards for their decks. And if there's a standard tournament coming up and the decks are hot, right? Like, I need these Rafines for my Esper Legends deck or whatever, and the price goes up because the demand is high. It fuels their bottom line, their economy, the whole reason they exist. I understand why those entities are like, sorry, no proxies. And I understand why
we actually ran.
Yeah, the tournament that we ran,
we did.
The card store,
respect that as
they
well.
were like, no proxies, because if people are going to have a tournament there's a chance they might buy cards to fill out their decks. Yeah. You know, like, that's where I understand where proxies are like, it makes complete and total sense why the organizing body wouldn't want proxies.
Yeah,
but
we even ran into that when it came to our just our business cards for the channel, because little proxy rogues passages hit a couple of the card shops, be like, yeah, can we just like leave a couple here, sort of thing, just like pass out, sort of thing. And the second that they saw that, it was just like, oh, this is like a fake, but like obviously you could use it as the proper land rogues passage. Every single one of them basically was just like, well, probably not. We're not gonna.
Yeah, I mean, we've got funny man in chat here. My shop almost lost WotC for allowing proxies in an event that someone posted online. Yeah, like you can risk your affiliation with your WPN membership. So like I totally understand a store. Like I have no quarrels with a store being like, sorry man, we got to use real cards, because that's just the structure of when there's prizes on the line and stuff.
But even still, right? Like let's say like I said, I'm only from like a commander standpoint. So sure, from a standard standpoint, if standard hadn't been killed entirely by arena, I could see that, right? But like short of that, if we're playing, like, let's say I want to make a Sliver Queen deck, but I don't have a Sliver Queen. Do I not make a Sliver Queen deck because I can't afford a $400 Sliver Queen, and then the game store gets $0 from that deck I'm no longer building? Or do I proxy maybe my land base, like get a few duels in it, get a Sliver Queen, and then I'm out buying all the slivers. I'm buying some shocks. I'm maybe getting a few fetches. I'm still building the deck, right? Like when you look at it, is either because I'm not, if I'm a player who's not going to buy a Sliver Queen that's a real card, you're not losing that sale on money I'm not going to spend. But you are losing the sale of like anything that I will go to buy the rest. And again, is me not building the deck better than me building the deck and you not getting a card I'm still not buying? I don't think so.
There's a weird. Oh, sorry. There's like a weird little thing that I want to bring up in regards to like when we went through COVID and there was like high end tournaments happening, and all of the best players in the friggin' world were competing in tournaments, and they had to use Arena, and they were just given dummy accounts with everything unlocked and the hundreds of thousands of gems. Like, they were essentially playing with digital proxies, right? Like, they weren't playing with their decks. They weren't playing with cards that they bought. They were just getting handed, here's the deck list that you said you wanted to use to compete in the tournament, and people watched and enjoyed the competition at the highest level of the entire game.
It was probably some of the best, right? Because like seeing Arena is cool. Like if there was like tournaments for Arena where players could just come out and actually play that, then it would be fun. But exactly like you said, the having access to everything, then you're just facing the skill of your opponent and the shuffler, which is rigged. Hate the shuffler.
I agree. It's absolutely rigged.
Oh,
People
God.
who say that it's not, crazy.
I go on a win streak, then I draw 35 lands, and I've only got 20 in the deck. How? Make it make sense.
Yep. No, I'm right there with you, bud.
I love it.
A side little point to that too. It double surprises me that there's such an issue with proxies when it comes to like the various like outside of a tournament setting. It double surprises me because like a lot of the arguments that I see get thrown around are just like, oh, you're not like kind of like you said. It's like you're not buying cards. Oh, this. Why? Like you're not putting your money. None of so much of what Magic is the third party market. It is the card shops, and like there's a lot of revenue that's going from card shops to Wizards of the Coast and all that kind of stuff. Half of what people are playing anyways isn't even coming from card shops. It's coming from like trades. Like proxying I feel like tends to lead people to spending more money on Magic than it leads to them not spending money on Magic.
Well, yeah,
kind of
because
like
you're supporting a new deck brew. That's what we're talking about. Deck boxes. We're talking about sleeves. Like the attention that your life then devotes to it. Like that costs money, you know?
Yeah, where it's just like it makes no sense that people would be against proxies in the sense of like that, where it's just like you do realize that like the game that you're playing, like Wizards of the Coast selling their product, if you proxy a card, Wizards doesn't really lose money off of that. The card shops kind of do, but the card shops are also the ones who are making all that money back because you're not straight ordering your boxes of Magic. I'm not buying my bundle packs from Wizards of the Coast. I'm buying them from my local game shop.
Yeah.
Like they're the ones who are making.
Yeah, you want to hear something crazy that relates to all of this in a very weird way. So there was a Star City Games tournament that happened. This article came out 3 days ago. I just heard about this recently. They got to the person piloted their, I believe, modern deck all the way to top 8. And because they got to top 8, they were deck checked. Everybody's deck checked before day 2 or whatever, like the top 8 games. And the judge came back and they were like, yeah, your 4 copies of Ragavan are counterfeit. And he was like, what are you talking about? And he pulled up the receipt from, I think, TCG Player for this playset of Ragavan. And the counterfeits are so good now that the card dealers, like TCG Player, whatever vendor was selling these cards, didn't even catch it. And so then people were like he got disqualified from the tournament because legally in the rules it's like if you're playing with illegitimate cards you're DQ'd. But he was in the top 8, and like what does it matter if they were real or not, you know? Like there was this. Yeah, he was still on it
and everything, and they're like, nope, sorry.
That dude was on a heater, and he got just pulled from a top 8 potential like top 4 potential win. And I feel so bad for the guy because even he didn't know. He was like, I can show you the receipts, man. Like, it was so soul crushing.
Like Magic's a visual game too, right? Like that's why they spent so much money on the art. It's really cool to see someone drop like nice foil version of Avacyn or something down, right? And so I get it. Like I'm not a giant fan of like the counterfeit that's like a 1-to-1 replica, but full arts of it and stuff, right? But like just make it still nice to sit down and play. Like if you're playing exactly, right? If you're playing like a Knights deck, like if you have like a different version, or an anime thing you liked or something, whatever makes you want to build the deck, right? Commander's all self-expression.
Yeah.
So if you're playing it, like obviously, like if it's like a Ragavan with a pair of jugs, maybe that's not what I want to see at a table. But like if you're just playing normal, like fun stuff, and you have a character you like, or this is, like you said, an altar that was done up, and you really, really love the full extension, that's what makes people want to build decks.
Yeah, it's a weird thing.
Agree.
Like,
see if I can find it here. I have this weird altar of Gave, Guru of Spores. That is like one of my favorite things. I still haven't put it on a card. One of these days, though, when I rebuild Gave, I'm so excited. You continue. I'm gonna see if I can find it.
Well, yeah, like I feel like the fact that there has been a cascading proxy debate, which I will say happens probably once a year, right? The Magic Twitter, Magic Facebook, like it gets full up its own ass over proxies. They get bored. And like I wanted to resist bringing it up in regards to just like inflaming the conversation more, but like at the same time, it's, you know, if you have a voice or whatever, you like, I think it's a valiant effort to try and distinguish the flames and just be like, hey guys, it's not that big of a deal. You got bigger problems out there. But like this Ragavan thing happening right now is so well timed for me, because it's like, damn dude, this was like a tournament, like especially because the guy had receipts. Like it really showcases the fact that like the gameplay was the most important thing here. The fact that the card was real or not is, I understand that he was disqualified because of the sanctioned rules of the event. It's like the legal thing, but it sucks because the story ended right there. You know, that guy could have had an amazing story. I mean, I guess it's still a good story, but it's a bad story, you know?
But still, right? If you tried and you're trying to become like, you're trying to win this tournament, you've spent the time learning the deck, piloting it, and you're killing it. You're blessed with luck this whole tournament, and then it's like, nah.
And you produce a receipt, and that means nothing.
Yeah.
Like, that is the day and age we're in right now.
It's like, this came from an actual like retailer.
Yeah, no, but the thing is, the receipt doesn't prove that the cards are real. The receipt proves that he paid.
But the truth is in the effort.
Yeah.
It's like, guys,
well, no, exactly
like,
that too.
Do you think I changed the cards as they were shipped to me? Like,
yeah, like that proves that's
here.
not his fault. Like, how do you disqualify somebody for like? Is he supposed to rip it open or put it under a microscope or rip it open to check for the blue slip in the middle? Like, what do you do in that situation? Half of the cards that are out on the market could be that. Does that just mean that half of everybody in these tournaments gets DQ'd?
Yeah,
because
again, look at it. They're out at a tournament, right? Imagine that player said, "You know what? You're right. Didn't even realize it. Let me go buy 4 right now."
Yeah.
Would that change the tournament in any way? No. That just means that he spent what's Ragavan, $90? Like he just spent another $360 just for fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, like it's not good. It's not making the deck any better and stuff. Like, set them on fire, and then he spends $360, and does that like justify it? No, it's silly. No.
Well, I wonder what 8th place of top 8 wins in prizing. Probably more than $360, right?
Probably.
Yeah, I like what I was trying to talk about earlier was the fact that I think it was our previous podcast episode. We did touch on the fact that I was just like, man, I feel like it's the floodgates could be open, just like we don't have to worry about banning things in Commander because Rule 0 people are pretty efficient with their discussions and stuff. And then in a very recent episode of yours, Dan, you had a brilliant counterpoint, which like as I was listening to it, I was just like, man, I was offside. I completely I was not looking at it the proper way because like Rule 0, we started out this whole project with our first podcast talking about Rule 0. Let's talk about where Rule 0 is at now today in this age, where it might be like the rules committee, the governing body of Commander, has stepped back quite heavily. They don't actually like step in and ban cards anymore like they used to. I don't know. I guess it seems like they've decreased the frequency of how much they're meddling.
Unless it's popular and it's Golos, then they're like, oh, I got to ban that.
Yeah, I mean, like you even
that made sense.
You even reminded me that Golos was banned, I forgot that was a thing. I used to run Golos in my Kenrith.
It is evil. It is an evil deck that can almost always get around Commander Curve, or Commander Tech, sorry.
But the conversation can go so spiral because, like, how is Golos banned and other things aren't, right?
Yeah.
Right?
Everyone played Guild Gates, yeah. If your people are going to 5-color good stuff, they're going to 5-color good stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but, like, I just wanted to, like, especially having you on the cast, like, I was going to talk about this whether you were here or not. I wanted to give, like, shout out to, like, the point you made in regards to letting the gelatinous mass of humans do the lifting, the weight of the governing with Rule Zero is a failed experiment.
There's a George Carlin in the moment being like, people as a mass, ugh. People singularly, it's very much so. Like, I agree. Like, rule, because we've done this more than enough times on the podcast where I have relatively pedestaled Rule Zero, but even my approach to it, like in the podcast, there's a lot of people who are explaining what their deck does and all this kind of stuff. There's so much. It's a weird. What Rule Zero is now more or less kind of becoming. It's the same way what people think about proxies. Like, well, here's how I think Rule Zero should be approached a lot of the times.
Yeah, it's subjective.
It's subjective, and at the end of the day, for me, if I'm Rule Zeroing, I'm playing a Layla. I'm making it fairy typal. I have enchantments and artifacts that are irritating. It's a strong deck. That's as far as I'm going to go now, you know?
Well, but I guess, like, the way I want to footnote this is, like, for example, you guys provided an example, I think, that happened at the face-to-face Calgary event where Brian was talking about how there was a pair of guys that sat down and said their decks were power level 5 and there was a turn 2 kill with Winota.
Yeah, a full cedh Winota list in an event we were playing.
And they were confident power level 5. Confident.
That just sounds like bad sportsmanship and lying.
Yeah, they were
things
trying
like
to
that.
win pricing.
One of my favorite LGS owners.
Okay, sorry. I thought you guys were saying that they were, like, pretty confident or, like, misguided about the power level. They were just trying to shark you guys?
Oh yeah, they were just trying to like. It was an Emperor game, like the 3-on-3 kind of thing, and we were participating for the event, and they're just like, oh yeah, like we want to play some 5s, and I was like, oh no worries, like we'll play this. So we were all playing pretty casual things, and yeah, they turn 2 Winota, another one Force of Willed, like a turn 1 Llanowar Elf, like just silly stuff is what they're doing.
It's kind of like Galazeth with me when I showed up that night.
It's this guy. This is the guy.
I am honest. I would never. No, honestly, at this point, there's been moments like that, you know, where I've got into a game where I use the wrong phrasing, or I'm like convinced of it, and then I get butthurt. I'm like, this deck isn't very strong, and then all of a sudden I'm just like popping off, and there's no point in which I'm trying to literally, especially if it comes to like online games on Spell Table or for like on film, where I'm trying to make like a fuck of myself. I'm literally not trying to make the worst plays possible, and I'm not trying to go into the game assuming that my deck can only do so much, when unfortunately it's sometimes the most foolish people are those who are convinced they know everything, you know. And now I really don't, like, ever since my Ramos brew, which I've since taken apart, one of my biggest learning curves was understanding, you know, like how Ramos played, because I'd play a spell that had, you know, color identity to it, but I was, you know, comboing off in the wrong way possible. Ever since that about a year ago now, you know, like, I have to always tell myself I don't know everything. I'm very confident about some of these things going into it, and that also applies to power scaling, deck construction, everything. You can't always say you know everything, but you can become very comfortable within your own play style, your own color ranges that you're familiar with, and you can at least absolutely understand all the combos that you usually revolve around. But if you're going to go there into most games, be like, let's say this guy's going into your Emperor game, we're being honest. Let's say that they did not have a single brain cell in their body that understood a proper basis of comparison. And this is one thing I think a lot of players unfortunately struggle with.
Humans.
It's a human failing at the end of the day. But in this case, obviously, these guys were brats and decided to make a name for themselves.
So I have a question. Did these sharks, they got to cross off their little bingo thing?
No, it was a best 2 of 3 Emperor match.
So
and
you
then
got
I
him?
just kept saying, I was like, oh yeah, for sure, like I'll just play like a 5, and I just kept playing like full tuned like tier 1 cedh lists into it, and they kept being like, oh no, like we don't want to play cedh. I was like, no, it's the 5. and it was pretty.
Dude,
it was poor sport to get back, but
you're my hero. You're my hero. I'm so
Mirrors,
glad,
babe.
I'm so
Mirrors.
glad to hear the climax of that story was you served the ball back
Was
in their
karmic?
court.
I have a really especially I built it specifically for Emperor. Do you know what Octavia does?
No.
Oh,
Octavia.
really good. It's an octopus, right?
Yeah.
From Strixhaven?
So
Yeah.
It's a full like hard ramp deck, and it's whenever you cast instant.
So
yeah,
cool.
that one. It's the fact that you can give things 8/8.
Wait, so it's a 10 mana cost. This spell costs 8 less to cast if you have 8 or more instant or sorcery cards. So that's like a threshold?
Threshold. With 8.
Yeah.
Was threshold
Threshold for
7?
8. Threshold's for 7, yes.
Or was threshold for one of each card
No,
type?
no, that's Delirium. Threshold is 7.
Yeah, okay.
Checks for 7 things in your graveyard.
And then, sorry, whenever you cast or copy an instant or sorcery, a target creature has a base power and toughness 8/8.
I've seen this deck slap. Who made it once? I think it was a one Jordan Cross, actually.
So the whole deck is it's all really small, unblockable or infect creatures, and an Emperor creatures around.
I love you.
It's an Emperor deck, and the whole point of it is just it's all turbo self-mill myself, like archive trap myself. The minute someone searches like something, I archive trap myself or any of those things. And yeah, it's to get Octavia out like turn 1 or turn 2, and then just start giving people unblockable infect creatures that I turn into 8/8s with like a silly, like I'll brainstorm and give you an 8/8 infect.
How am I only seeing this card now? This is 2021 Commander. The art is beautiful too.
Unfortunately, a lot of Strixhaven cards have been sad over, like Essex for some reason, or Estrix is just not one of the most popular Simic cards in the game, and I'm surprised it isn't. Like it's just everyone always remembers Avix and Niv. Estrix is the general from the Avix and Niv pre-con from Strixhaven.
Estrix?
Estrix, yeah.
Yeah, ESSIX.
Oh, Essex, sorry. Yeah, so every time you'd create 1 or more tokens, instead create X copies of target creature you control. It is broken. And I got to see, shout out to Chris Delaney with, when I was hanging out with Jenim the other day. He pulled a combo where he destroyed 3 of his own lands with a Terrastodon. It was, with a with Avix and Niv on the battlefield. It was one of the most hysterical, crazy combos I've ever seen in my life. Destroyed like 18 non-creature permanents. Died promptly to elephants, but yeah.
Damn.
It was amazing. I was like, wow, snaps, girl.
There's a few commanders that I see that really overperform, and this is one of them. This, Zaxara, stuff like that. Like, there's not a way to really build them bad short of doing it with a blindfold, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, because, yeah, the easiest way to look at this is just like you play an Avenger of Zendikar, and then instead of making your plant tokens, you make that many more Avenger of Zendikars.
Yeah, okay, so instantly that sounds amazing, but it's also a 6 mana card and a
series predation.
7 mana card.
Yeah, but you're in Simic. Six mana in Simic
True.
is basically 3 mana.
True.
Yeah, this is turn 3 in green, yeah.
Ooh, man, okay. I feel like
As our resident Simic player, Simic getting big things out fast is the easiest thing in the world.
Yeah, I'm almost done this too. I almost have it sleeved. I just gotta get Azerius Predation.
cool.
Yes.
Yo, I kind of want to go back to. I still have questions about the quantity of decks you have. I
have questions about your balls.
No, like, okay, so I've been meaning to ask you this, and this is the first time I've actually like had your attention to bounce these questions off. So, like you said, 680 decks, right?
80-ish.
600. Yeah, so like at a certain point, it becomes blur, right? Like I don't actually know how many, because it would take you half a day to count them. But if you wanted to go looking for a specific one, do you know how to find it, or do you have to just like?
I have a rough idea where they are.
Yeah.
It's like you can see, like, for Strixhaven, I loved Strixhaven as a set, right? So I know that, like, I'm like, okay, well, this orange archive and this blue archive are all decks from Strixhaven. Okay. Or like I'll be like, I built a lot of Lord of the Rings. Those are in like the Druidic Secrets one.
All right. So
I wish I would sort my bulk cards so I would pay.
I just like there has to be like the amount of them that are at arm's reach that you will go for weekly or monthly, right?
When you come to play, they're like just sitting there like at the table I play. There's like literally just boxes on boxes.
He was like this. yeah. Emily just, I'm just gonna,
Why am I picturing that?
one
Like,
earned it. It wasn't that effortless.
did
It
a
was like
kitchen, did a kitchen renovation. Remove the kitchen cabinets, and we'll just use deck boxes as cabinets.
It's like I've got like a big like a China cabinet like entertainment center, and they're just all full of like deck boxes like top to bottom everywhere.
I was literally waiting for RuPaul's Mansion setup to just like, but wait, there's more. Let me just open up this closet, to open up this cabinet, to open up this subdivision.
That's funny. Like I sit here and like both Brady and Brandon are just like constantly hounding me to be like, you need to build more decks, dude. Like, come on.
You're a talented player. You are so minimal with your brewing, man.
I also just want to see you be more creative with the decks that you build, because so far, and this isn't a shot, you do what you do well. What you do is, I'm going to attack you real fast. I'm going to attack you real fast.
He's a spike.
I'm going to attack you real fast, or I'm going to draw a lot of cards and then attack you real fast. I want to see some diversity.
Fuck, I guess I have a type, eh?
Hey,
You do. I don't know how many. Like, at least 3 of your decks have multiple combats.
Brandon, it wins though. The other day with Platinum
Oh yeah.
Mars,
it went.
with Emery there, I drew 5 cards.
Is it just a Tolly that has
Yeah,
multiple combats?
Tolly's the only deck that I focus on extra combats.
I thought Elsha was still dealing with. No, I guess not.
Extra combat's fun.
Extra combats. Oh yeah, no. What he does is he does well, and they slap. Nothing against him or his deck building.
Yeah, I'm the type of player that like I don't build a commander deck unless it really grabs me. And then when it does grab me, it like sort of becomes a bit of my like I like incorporate it into my identity. It becomes like very nested.
Yeah.
I don't
That's
build
what I mean, like,
thousands of decks.
Yeah. I was like, I would really want to see you build something like akin to my Henzi. Because up until Henzi, I was kind of just a bread and butter as well. It's just like it was just. I mean, I was still a little bit more diverse in what I was doing, but it's like I didn't do weird things with my decks. I just dealt like the most obvious thing with whatever deck was being built. And then Henzi came along, and like picking him up out like literally the moment of processing, the wheels turning as I'm sitting there looking at him in the card shop, and I'm like, I know like 30 things that this is gonna do. And it just turned into pure chaos. Chaos that still terrifies half the people that we play with.
That's what. Like, I experience the same thing. Like, when I see something that, like, immediately the magnetism is there. And is like, I really want to build this. Like you were talking about with Galadriel, Dan. Like, that instant magnetism of just, like, oh, my... And even at the start of that episode when, like, just the way that Brian was just like, holy shit, this does what? Like, I got to build this immediately. Like,
That card's crazy. I don't know why they printed it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm interested to... I would love to play a game against it. I just want to see how it rolls out.
Oh, you will. There's like a lot. Like for me, I just tend to anything about the card that captures my interest. I'm like, I should build this. Like I just built Zexara because someone at one of the game stores sent me a picture and said, "Hey, have you seen the Secret Lair Zexara? We have one in. Do you want it?" And I said yes. Then I went in and I just built Zexara because of that.
Yeah, it was more like, it's like, hey, man, you appreciate Rule 34 Broken, right? Like, you like Hydras? Yeah?
Yeah, Zexara Sultai Legendary, Nightmare Hydra. Oh my god, look at the art!
I just lost to this the other day. Who was playing it? Devin. Yeah, shout out to Devin.
This is a Death Touch. Tap to add 2 mana of any one color. Whenever you cast a spell with X in its mana cost, create a 0/0 Hydra, then put X/1/1 counters on it. I have seen Cody play this in the past.
Tyranids want that.
Yeah. This
Zexara overperforms for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, like, it this is the cool thing about Commander, and the positive of Wizards designing cards specifically for the format is that they're able to create like a nice shell commander that like really draws in a whole subset of cards that they've been printing for 20 years and gives it a home to be exceptional as a commander deck. I think Elsha was like really good for that as well. Like there's cards that like, I mean, dude, like when I got into Commander, I was like, I specifically selected my colors first. I was like, I know I want to build Jeskai because I want to do the enter the battlefield flicker combos, and I want all of them. I just wanted flicker like Splinter Twin, Saheeli, Felidar Guardian, Restoration Angel, all that kind of stuff, right? And the only good commander that I had available was Narset Enlightened Tutor or Late Master.
I remember that Narset.
It's a classic. I think it's still up there in the power schemes of things.
The problem is that Narset was a non-bow. Narset, like I wanted a deck that was built around creature flickers, and Narset like its ability was non-creature spells. So if I attacked with Narset, it would like potentially exile my win cons. So it was like really conflicted, and there was no good there was no good Jeskai like commander options for flicker.
Yeah, until
and and now like Wizards is really like honing in on those archetypes.
I gave you that Elship.
No, you didn't.
I did, didn't I? From my Savine deck. I
bought Savine.
You bought it?
I
gave it to somebody. Okay, I'm speaking.
Yeah, I bought that. So I gave half that deck to Gavin. I basically like took all of the pieces out of that Savine deck that I wanted, and then Gavin was like, "Yo, can I have that?" And I was like, "You just have the rest." And like I gave him a Savine's Reclamation, I guess, that I should have probably held on to.
It's 30 cents now or something.
What, 30 cents?
Yeah, it's cheaper. It got reprinted a bunch. Unless it went up again. But it got reprinted in the Commander Legends, didn't it?
Wait, this card is $6. Wait.
Whatever.
Oh, it's actually cheap now. Nice. Okay.
Yeah.
Anyway. Like I know that people have a lot of reservations about the way that Wizards have been designing for Commander, because I think 2 years in a row now they've printed something like 15% of all commanders available in each year. I think this year
creatures is crazy. Even like the Lord of the Rings set alone brought a wild amount of legendary creatures.
Yeah, but no battles.
Thank you.
Yeah, no, for real. For the one time they could have done it and made it even better than what the Invasion of Phyrexia could have done is bring it into the Lord of the Rings set.
It's like not only that, but it's like they gave us battles and they gave us specifically siege battle type, which means that they have plans, or they at least sat down in their studio and they were planned to be like, okay, well here's like, I don't know, another kind of battle type. Here's the crusade battle type, even though they're probably never going to use that as a type.
Guerrilla warfare battle. Whatever.
What time they could have brought back horsemanship with it, like the Radas of Rohan.
But now it's like we're a year. Actually, are we more than a year? No, we're about half a year, right? What time
8. I'm gonna guess 8 months.
I will say that we were talking about the battle card type in I think our second episode of our podcast, because we had no idea what it did. So it was about a year ago.
Yeah. It's been a while. We're encroaching to like we're over half a year and probably encroaching close to a year now of like where's the rest of the battles? No other set, no release.
They did the same with Foretell. Foretell was such a cool mechanic, and
I loved it. I loved Foretell.
Don't even look at it. And they just keep printing amazing. They made Dream Devourer, which was like one of the coolest Foretell cards. They're like, it's not in any of the colors of the other Foretell stuff. Too bad if you don't like it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, what did you think of battles? Like when were you? I guess battle was one of those things. Like the Atraxa card was previewed, and everybody was like, "What the fuck is a battle card?" So we all had like a good 30 days or something, or like multiple weeks of sitting around being like, "What is battles? What is it going to mean?" What was your impression on that card type?
I thought it was going to be something like similar to like Clash, like where you just like are flipping for CMC kind of thing.
Yeah. What was your what do you think of them in post?
Yeah, they're pretty cool. I don't really use them a lot and stuff. I haven't really found a place to put most of them into decks that I play, but there's lots of really cool ones, right? Like they really slot into a lot of decks.
Yeah.
There's a lot of them that are really mid, and then there's a couple of them. The card itself, and maybe it's part of why they didn't go back to it. The cards themselves are kind of just mid when you're looking at like the context of like the more competitive side of Magic, because they have so many steps to actually be able to like really gain their benefit. First you got to play it, then you no
battle cards.
Because like first you got to play it, you got to decide who's defending it, sort of thing. You have to try to actually get it to there, and then as soon as it flips, you got to hope that it's not just going to get insta removed. Like there's a lot that goes towards making them work, but it's like, what is it? The battle for I think Segovia, the blue one, ETBs, you create 2 tentacles, or two
the
squids.
mini krakens.
The mini krakens.
As soon as you flip, all non-land all non-creature spells you have Convoke, and it's like that's amazing.
That's a good.
That's so amazing.
My favorite's the one that I have in Shadrix, which is Invasion of Oshokazan, which basically checks for creatures that have dealt damage or have attacked get bolstered, which obviously my Chatrix just wants that.
Well, there was 2 of them that had competitive pedigree that were proven competitive
The
cards.
Wooburg one was really
Oh,
good
yeah.
too.
Yeah,
as well.
Invasion of Alara, I believe, was the 5-color one, and it was, I think, a part of it for a time standard. There was a deck that turboed it, or like as long as you could get it out, it created a loop and ended the game. And then there was in the Lord of the Rings Pro Tour, there was I think it might have been the Tron deck, the mono green Tron deck. There was the I think it was Invasion of Zendikar, the mono green one that gave you 2 lands on ETB. And yeah, that was like Topiary Stomper was in that deck.
Love that card.
And it was just like a bunch of like green elements to just go big. And that made it into that deck made it into the top 8. So I do think it was a success, right? Like battle cards did have minor tournament pedigree. They were playable in standard. You do have news.
We do have news.
Uh-oh.
I'm just looking for.
I want that news desk.
Okay, so we're almost a year on this news. I'm surprised that I didn't hear this. According to Mark Rosewater, we won't see new battle cards until at least the start of 2025.
Boo.
Trash.
They really rematched that for. They ruined that for Lord of the Rings, though. They really should have produced one for Lord of the Rings. Like, how dare you?
He reminded players that Wizards works 2 years ahead.
Yeah.
We wanted to see how battles were received by the public before putting them in.
That's
other
fair.
sets.
That's fair.
Yeah, but they whiffed on Lord of the Rings. Even one in there.
Wait.
They were so close to one another.
But the thing is, they didn't really whiff on Lord of the Rings. That set was fire in all regards,
I mean,
right?
they whiffed on the battles for Lord of the Rings. Like, they would have been some of the craziest flavor to at least add more battles to at least the next couple of years, in which we're not going to see any, apparently, to the beginning of 2025.
Yeah.
To have
So
even just a few for some of the most iconic battles coming out of Lord of the Rings in the book series is a failing. It's I think worse than the Secret Lair dinosaur derping. Like, they basically did that, but on a much more critical level. Like, and it's cool that maybe people going into the game probably don't have that kind of appreciation, but
Sorry, what's that?
I was saying, I wish that battles functioned differently. I hate the idea that, like, that's not a battle. That's just me trying to attack something.
Yeah.
I really like the idea, like, had they printed it like, you cast it, you'll get the ETB, but whoever defeats the battle gets the flip
that
side.
would have been more playful. Actually, that
Yeah.
came up today, actually, in a spell table game where somebody played, it was the not the Convoke one. Which one was it? It was the one that gives all creatures unblockable or something like that. And it came up into debate, and we actually had to go on spell table, do a really quick, like we had to go into like the rule number 5805, like for interactions and stuff. I'm like, oh, the person playing the battle gets the benefit.
Yeah,
That
always.
sucks. But also
Yeah.
kind of makes sense, but also kind of why. That's unfortunate.
When we did our initial...
Our first podcast, we kind of did our initial, or it might have been our second podcast. Right at the beginning, we kind of threw out our ideas for that. What I had thought, and I still think that it would have been better, I thought specifically, because there was the other precon that was printed at the time, there was the new Atraxa, and then like one of the precons, the Rebel precon, had something to do, the wording was weird, and it's just like whenever you attack on, like, any turn that you attack, and something about that just read off weird. I thought battles initially were going to be an extra combat step on somebody else's turn. So it's like you attack, and it itself would be like a response of just like, cool, you've attacked, now I get an attack on your turn.
God, I wish I could remember what card that was. You're right, because Brandon, you were the one that brought that up. It was one of the precons, the commander precons, that mentioned.
Othari and Naali.
I've got it here.
How do you spell it?
Was it Othari or?
No, it's it was Naali, Sun's Vanguard.
Yeah, that's the face commander. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
N-A...
Nayaali.
A-L-I... Naali.
Naali.
Oh my god. Naali, Scryfall, that always does the thing. There it is, and we'll hit the second screen. Naali, Sun's Vanguard.
Double strike.
Yeah, so this is the thing, like we're revisiting this because this was very confusing back when we were trying to figure this out. Whenever one or more tokens you control attack a player, exile the top card of your during any turn you attacked with a token. That's why.
Yeah.
Okay, hold on.
Yeah.
Whenever one or more tokens you control attack a player. So if your tokens get stolen by another player,
Yeah.
then that's why this wording is like that.
Well, no, yeah.
No,
So,
but
'cause
during
tokens
any turn
control.
you attacked with a token.
Yeah, the wording on this is so that you don't lose the things to exile. If you flip them over in exile and then 2 turns later attack with a token, you can still access those other ones.
Yeah.
Boys, I'm making this deck. I'm in love.
Now,
Oh yeah, I think I love this. I'm a big Prosper player, and I love Force Draw or Impulse Draw. I love it.
super fun, and so is the other commander, Othari, the experience counters in Boros. That spits out like creatures like crazy.
Oh yeah.
Man, all I can think about is Crested Sunmare tokens. Ship them.
See, I might even just get this for the 99 for my Kaikar Brew. I think honestly, I think it's stronger than 99 for my Kaikar Brew.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, in the wake of this and the weird wording, with them also announcing alongside it battles with the Atraxa, it was just kind of like, oh, it seemed like they were painting something to be like, oh, it's extra combats or some weird pseudo extra phase or something.
Like a side literal battle.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's interesting.
It seemed like that's what it was going to be, and they didn't. They gave us cool cards, but just another modal card.
They don't like to print flip cards, so I don't know why they would print one and then hope it gets popular only to then complain that they're gonna not want to print flip cards.
I think it's because the fan base loves their flip cards.
They're nice.
Oh yeah. Especially when it comes to not all of the sets have had the most flavor or like the best.
I like to chalk this up to actually human error and
Yeah.
then somebody in management getting drunk, and unfortunately the ripple effect does happen.
Yeah.
True.
Hey guys, I think Golos is a great idea. Yeah.
Yeah.
Good idea. Don't blaspheme.
Golos should not die for the sins of.
I love what kills me too is I actually do appreciate the aesthetic, but once you've gone it, or like what it does and everything, but once you've been pummeled by an omniscience out of nowhere, you're like, no.
Man, if you've cast Golos and you've spent the mana to spin the wheel and you hit a omniscience,
you okay?
like
Yeah.
let the player let him choose food. You know.
Yeah. What do you call
There's
it?
There's a meme that keeps going around where it's just like somebody blah blah, like however many turns into a game, person casts omniscience, and then it's like, what are you gonna do now? It's like, honestly, I didn't think I was gonna get this far.
Or like people who play expropriate. Good for you. It took work. Okay, unless you cheated it out with some kind of weird mechanic, but on average, someone's going to be paying 8 mana to get maybe a card that will potentially not work at all in their favor.
Yeah.
You know, like sometimes like that, I'm like, okay, you deserve that.
Yeah.
I was playing like a normal Niv Mizzet game. I hard cast Omniscience with no cards in hand and no mana rocks. Not a mana rock. We're late in the game. Not a single mana rock. I hard cast it. No remaining mana, no card, and no draw. And the person I was playing with rage quit. They're just like, I didn't know I was playing against combo decks. I had nothing. The turn was over. I had an omniscience and an empty hand, and I had already tapped in this.
And you're just like, baby, come back, please.
It's amazing.
Up in this, I'm not playing against a combo deck, and I was like, all right, cool, I guess.
Sick.
And then I just continued to lose the game to the other 2 players who didn't quit because they're like, all right, you have an omniscience. What are you doing? Nothing.
Okay, congratulations. How many cards in hand? All right.
Yeah, that should be your next T-shirt. I play omniscience. Pass.
Or I'm omniscient? Question mark. Bow to my omniscience.
All right. Well, we've taken up an hour and a half of your time. Is there something?
Is there anything on your mind that you're itching to talk about or to bring up?
So many things. No, I just I definitely am interested in playing more games with you guys and seeing a little bit more of the play
We'll make it happen. Don't worry. We have nothing but fun with y'all. So.
And yeah, no, it's I'm really looking forward to seeing that. I do think that it was an interesting thing to discuss proxies because, like you said, the people are just rough on the internet. It's just like, oh, you can't do this, and everything you see like in Reddit posts is just like, I can't believe that this person did this and it wrecked my whole night. Like it's all, am I the asshole?
Not enough fair.
Everyone, every side of it is the asshole in this. It's
not enough emotionally where basis of comparisons out there. You know, like it takes a lot of experience. You know, you got to go out there. You got to challenge yourself. You got to experience these things. You got to hear people and their experiences as to why they're proxying or not. They're like, okay, are you starving at the end of the day? That's what it comes down to. Are you starving and still want to play the game? Do you have a right to play the game even though you don't have money? Like that, again, like my soccer analogy, right? Like it's.
I have kind of a rhetorical question for the topic as well, since we're kind of at the end here. What is the value level of a proxied card upon which people care? If I proxy a basic forest, do you give a shit? If I proxy a 30-cent card, do you give a shit? Or is it only once we start hitting like the 50 to 100
comparison?
I could tell you my personal experience of that, because I got like we'll cycle back to the conversation we were having before. I got to the point where I was like, man, I don't like what I'm seeing in my play group, that there's a disparity of dollars spent and like availability, right? I like some people have access to better cards and they're just like sort of pub stomping, and some people just don't, right? So I took it on as fucking Robin Hood. I was like, I'm gonna print hundreds of dollars of proxies.
Confetti cannon approach.
Yeah, I confetti cannon. I was just like, all right, here's dual lands, fetch lands, fucking guys cradle, like demonic tutor, vampiric tutor. Like I just started like flooding the play group with like, hey, if you want to play with these cards, just play with them.
Yeah.
And
it had an effect on us.
It was like a good 6 months of like, I guess the power level of the group went up. And then what you're talking about, Brandon, we reached a fucking wall where Guy's Cradle was the first card where people were like, we're not doing Guy's Cradle anymore. No, like that's the one we're banning.
There's only like 2 people playing decks where it's actually good and it's broken.
I find it so funny that Guy's Cradle was the one, because it's like, man, that card is good 50% of the time. Right?
60% of the time, it's good. 100%.
That's all games, period. Ah, man.
For what you were saying too, a good thought experiment is this. Let's say that Brando spends $5 per proxy, gets 100 proxies at $5, really pimp the deck out. And let's say that I just really get along with Brady and decide I'm giving Brady my collection. Brady spent $0. Brady spent no money on it whatsoever.
But they're all real cards?
Exactly, but like you've spent, you're $5,000 deep on these fake cards. You've still outspent an enormous amount, but like the value is, again, it doesn't matter what I paid for a card is an irrelevant factor. Again, I'm not out here buying a foil Cradle right now. No way, no chance. It's not happening. But I have one, right? Like it's, you know what I mean? Like does what I spent on it like make it a different? No, like I wouldn't. Again, the same thing. I've owned dual lands and stuff for a long time. I'm not buying duals right now for $1,100. No way.
Yeah.
Right? Like it's just what I spent on it is an irrelevant factor. It's, are you having fun?
Yeah. Exactly. 100% to the day I die.
That's what I appreciate about you. I do very much respect, like, you, like, not by your own choice. You're in a position where, like, you just have been a part of the game for a long time. And the power struggle of the material value of it is like irrelevant. The game matters so much that it's like, and that's what I see when I look at Twitter or fucking Facebook, and people are just like, man, like I just don't think that you should be able to play those cards if you didn't pay them. It's like, what are you going to the store to play Magic, or are you going to the store to flex? Which one are you going to the store for?
There's a lot of blue players out there who don't even play the game. Stop it.
I play Time Twister. Even if you want to, go into your LGS and try buy one.
Yeah.
Where are they? They're not there.
No.
Yeah.
They're,
you know what I mean? Like, they're not putting that in a case. I'll tell you that right now.
Yep.
Like
go
ahead.
Even when it comes to like certain common or like certain cards that are generally readily available but aren't. It's like what? It's not Catacomb Sifter. It might be Catacomb Sifter. One Eldrazi, Dimir Eldrazi that does an effect on landfall. I spent months upon months looking for a copy because nobody had it. And it's just like, if this wasn't even like a mythic or a legendary, it's not even like an $800 card. It's like, this thing's like $5 and I can't find it anywhere.
Yeah.
I put Howling Mine in every deck.
And so his buttholes out there buying every single copy, Brandon, okay? They exist. Those are the enemies.
Yeah.
Stop buying up cards, you millionaires.
The popularity of the game is just like there's not enough stock of it in general for what people want to play, and there's not really a solution to like the dual lands thing other than like either you proxy it in the format that it works, or you just tell everyone in the play group like sucks to suck, you don't have one.
Yeah.
Play your slightly worse ones or slower ones that I also have access to.
Yeah.
As again, it always comes down to a basis comparison. You know, like if you understand what it is, like, you know, like you for sure play with the Power 9. Like, you know, most people don't know that. You know, like sure, go ahead, proxy, feel it out.
One thing that I
sorry.
Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
I was gonna say, like, or if you are committed to this, do it the hard way. Only ever buy your cards. Only ever play with those players out there who only ever buy their cards. Find your family, find your tribe, sure, whatever. But at the end of the day, I think most of those players are going to be more financially destitute or desperate and upset by their choices than maybe people who are able to find just a shred of genuine joy in this world and didn't spend $800 on a single piece of paper.
Well, I'll speak to my it was actually in the Twitch chat here earlier. I know, Brandon, you were interacting with in regards to me playing proxy cedh at the tournament coming up.
Yeah.
I plan to go to Saskatoon with a proxied cedh deck.
Yeah.
Because I've heard that like cedh as a format is generally pretty humble and like open to playing proxies. Now,
Gonna have to, I think.
What I want to do in regards to recording this little like story arc is I want to go. Of course I'm going to sit down and be like, "Are you guys cool with proxies?" And if the table's like, "Nah," then I'm out. Like I'm not going to. Right? That's the Rule 0 thing. Even in cedh, I think the proxy thing. Like, but I have a feeling that it's not really going to matter, and it's not like cedh at the face-to-face Saskatoon event isn't a sanctioned Wizards thing. It's just. It's firing pods of cedh for people to enjoy playing against other people, right? So I don't feel bad about bringing proxies there. I just like the deck, the list that I want to put together for Elsha is $11,700. Like I'm not gonna spend $11,500.
Not when you have a child.
Yeah, to drive to Saskatoon and play against 2 pods of people. Like I'm gonna proxy it because
let's even say you did spend that money. It would be financially irresponsible to just take $11,000 to a different province with you and then like just slap it on the table with strangers and be like, this is fine. I'm going to win $50 with this. Like
not even.
You know what I mean? Like you might win like $10 in store credit for winning your product. I'm not a financial advisor. Let me say that straight out right now. But it's not wise financially to do this.
Yeah, like if I happen to clutch a win, which is very unlikely, being the newbie at the cedh table, I might win 50 prize tickets.
Sorry to cut you off here for a second, Tanner, but what did we learn after the last face-to-face event?
What did I learn?
What did we learn about not assuming that you're just going to win every game that you sit down to play? What happened? What happened?
Were you on a heater?
No, day one. No, the leading up to the September face-to-face event, anytime Tanner talked about trying to compete in the Pioneer event, I'm just like, oh yeah, and so like when you win, and he always just kind of like that face he's making right there of just like the, oh, but I don't know, like the humble. It's like, oh, I'm probably gonna get my ass kicked. Like, oh, I don't know. It's like, no, you never not had it. So day one comes, he plays, he gets his booty kicked. But day 2 comes, he sits down, and what happened, Tanner? What happened?
I believe you spanked Woody.
I went undefeated.
Exactly.
I went on a heater the second day, which was like probably I'll chase that dragon for the rest of my career in Magic. That was the best feeling ever because I went in passionate but humble, and I just so happened to, man, like it feels really good when you're sitting down after months of like it was months of mental preparing and like dude, playing with a paper life pad is so stressful because like it took until day 2 for me to realize which side of the column was me because I'm not used to playing like with a paper pad to like track my life total in a competitive setting, and it took until the last match for me to get an entire round without making a mistake. And yeah, it was intoxicating. Like,
you think there's like a Sith Lord up in the like the Wizards of the Coast Illuminati office? He was like, yes, Keep them writing on pieces of paper.
right.
Keep them on their toes.
Probably had a demon on my shoulder just being like, we're going to give him a
Let them
3-0.
suffer.
We'll give him a 3-0 here, and then he's going to scrub out for the rest of his life.
What I was going to say, the last thing is just for being able to power decks up. One of the things I found the best is I just let anyone who wants to use like the snow duels from Call Time that enter tapped as just duels.
Yeah.
Play them just as duels. They don't enter tapped in Commander. That's how.
Yeah.
Love that as a rule 0, and now you have dual land. Play the game.
Oh yeah, that's so smart.
And honestly, like, one land slot being untapped is like so minimal in regards to what that does for the power level of your deck.
Yeah.
It's not like the fact that you can, like, your fetch lands will search for an untapped duel that doesn't cost you 2 life. That's not the game decision. It's not. It never really works out to.
True life in Commander's nothing.
Yeah,
Doesn't matter.
Shocklands are not like even Mana Crypt. A lot of times I feel like I've taken 20 plus damage off a Mana Crypt before. I have, and I didn't feel like that Mana Crypt was why I died or whatever, right?
I remember seeing somebody was playing an Asterion deck on Spell Table, and then somebody and they had like a turn 1 Mana Crypt and everything, and then Buddy was able to get Asterion out turn 4, and guy who was playing Mana Crypt was like, oh no. Like, it just the subtly like read it on and like, this isn't gonna work in my favor. No, like any amount of like life cost from anybody, and his Asterion Brew was designed around wound reflection, everything that could do wound reflection. Like, so it was.
That's a good strategy, man. Like it comes out of nowhere and it hurts.
Yeah.
I mean, is there anything else we want to touch on, or do you want to plug anything, Dan? You got anything that's not secretive that you want to plug?
Not that I can plug yet for that stuff, but yeah, into the 99. Come check out the games and stuff. We'll be doing, like we had discussed a little bit. We'll probably do some games that go up on our channel, some that go up on yours.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Swapcast. Yeah.
And we're moving our studio temporarily to my space, so we'll be able to record in the
neighbors.
Oh yeah,
'cause
you guys are close.
Because we live on the other side of the freeway there.
Yeah, you two
you're-
live like a 5-minute walk from one another, and that for us here at the very far northeast of the city is intense.
Yeah, good. It's your guys.
Calgary is way too humongous.
Time for
Oh
you
my
guys to
goodness.
travel halfway across the city to come play.
Yeah, it's your time. It's your dawn.
Well, personally, I'm really looking forward to coming to the debaucherous Into the 99 den and playing some games with you cats, because from what I've seen, it's top notch. Again, I recommend highly. Check out the channel, check out the podcast. You guys do incredible deck techs, incredible gameplay, and like I said, like, I don't know, many podcasts ago, like when stumbling upon you guys at the face-to-face event, legendary smiles, absolute, like, just top-notch energy.
Yeah.
We love you guys.
Yeah, you guys are amazing.
Thank you guys very much. And
Add
thanks
that
for having me.
baritone, Dan. Keep that up. You need to create like a sub channel for yourself where it's like Dan, like ASMR, where you're just like talking deck tech, you know.
This week,
Here, I'm gonna touch my deck.
Just let him talk.
this week on the podcast, we are going to
Yes. OnlyFans?
It's one of the comments I get all the time on our stream thing is that I have to make an OnlyFans for my forearms, and it makes me laugh every time. I don't know who it is or who does it, but they're just like, you should just post those pictures. It's like, don't do that. Don't talk like this in the stream.
It's an anonymous tip. Just the
it makes
tip.
me laugh every time, yeah.
And that's our show.
That's our show, everybody.
Right on.
Yeah,
Thanks
no, this
for
is
joining us.
this
Thank
has
you
been
so
fun.
much for joining us.
Yeah.
Yeah, so like you guys have do you have a website, or is it just push people to your YouTube?
No, yeah, into the 99.com.
Yeah, right. Go to the website. That will feed you to everywhere, everything that these guys do. And guys and girls, I mean, you guys, you have is it your wife that does the
Yeah,
camera
she does all
controlling? Yeah. Mad respect to the production of all of the
When
things.
she's doing it, she's like, I'm like, like spider finger people from like Ghost in the Shell. That's what she's doing. I'm like, wow.
She works in like production and stuff, right? Like she does
cool.
like media stuff.
Oh,
So-
it shows. It shows.
Yeah, so for her it's so brainless to sit and do the camera stuff, but I'm like, every time I'm just so happy.
It's a skill.
Yeah.
Right on.
Yeah, and does a hell of a good job too. I mean, so I guess on that note, we will we'll send off. I guess this is the 11th. This is our first podcast of 2024.
Yeah,
It sure is.
celebrating 300 new subs.
Oh yes, yeah. We forgot to say we're finally.
We forgot to say this. Oh my goodness.
We
Guys.
broke 300.
Yes.
As of current count, we're at 304.
Woo.
And over 2,000 watch hours,
Nice.
which is
To what did
I
Dan
can't-
also pointed out, apparently we have a big following in Angola. Looking at you, South Africa.
awesome. The fact that our content so far has been watched for over 2,000 hours kind of blows my mind.
Yeah, we're not that interesting.
We're not exactly. That's exactly.
Fun, yeah. No, that's
Right.
definitely congrats on the milestone. You guys are killing it, and it's especially for that. I thought you guys just spontaneously broke into the scene, and you're like, we're just killing it. But Brady was saying that you guys put a lot of planning into it, and it does really, really show.
Grind.
Yeah, it
the
was-
grind is real.
it was a-
We've been doing this the
it was
hard
a-
way.
It was a few months of me and Brady, and then it was half a year of me, Brady, and Tanner of just trying to get things organized and work. Like
Yeah.
we started the beginning of 2023. Well, we were planning before then, but we started doing stuff at the beginning of 2023, and it wasn't until June of 2023 that we actually launched anything.
I wish I had that patience to sit and work things out that way. I'm just like, yeah, we'll hit record. See what
We're doing
happens.
the long game.
Yeah, that was definitely me. I was just like, guys, shut up. Like, shh. Like, we need to refine the project, and like,
Yeah.
and like both Brady and Brandon were just like, what are we doing? But no, like it takes a village, right? Like I would have kept this on the back burner for another year, waiting for it to be to like the quality standard. But it got to the point where it was just like, okay, we need to release, otherwise this feels like it's not like worth the headache. And it was good because the release is what really pushes you further.
Yeah.
And the reception, the way people receive us, it's honestly so humbling. It's really like I'm a weirdo. I put a target on my back all the time, and people love me for it. So hopefully, and my boy's keeping me in check, I won't take things too far. But again, thank you so much to everyone, to our 300 follower mark. This is amazing. Thank you. Thank you.
Right on. All right.
All right, let's end
I'm
this,
joining you guys
boys.
at the 3,000.
Have a good night, everybody.
Yeah.
See you guys later. Thanks for coming down.
Oh, no problem. Anytime.
All right, bye guys.